Hello, Nova Nation. It's WXVU Sports Director David Szczepanski here in our WXVU studio for a Battle of the Wildcats football preview as Villanova will take on New Hampshire on Saturday at 1 p.m. in New Hampshire. Should be a good crowd on hand as it's homecoming weekend for the New Hampshire Wildcats. This is a big CAA game. Villanova beginning a stretch of two tough road games against New Hampshire and against Elon. Villanova coming into this contest with a record of 2-2 off of a win against William & Mary on Saturday at Villanova Stadium, a place where the Wildcats have won 18 consecutive games. So Villanova trying to continue what has been phenomenal home success over the last three seasons and take that here on the road to New Hampshire. Villanova, though, in that game against William & Mary did a lot of things right, especially offensively. They had a balanced attack. The passing attack looked good as Pat McQuaid threw for almost 200 yards. The rushing attack looked also excellent once again. David Abbott had 3 more rushing touchdowns for about 130 yards against the Tribe. He now has 6 rushing touchdowns this season, which leads the CAA. Isaiah Ragland also looked good running the football in the second half. So Villanova with a balanced attack, and Coach Ferrante really stressed how important it is for Villanova's offense to get going. They need that balanced attack, and it looked really good against William & Mary. When you kind of switch sides and you look at New Hampshire this season, this is a team that is 3-2. They weren't predicted to be, all that great, all that phenomenal coming into the season, but they really impressed earlier on this year when they played an FBS program in Ball State and kept that to a one-possession game. And then they lost to Dartmouth, but Dartmouth has been a competitive program so far this season in the Ivy League. And then last week they were able to win against UAlbany by a final score of 24-6. They scored in every quarter. So this New Hampshire team 3-2. They're receiving votes in both of the major FCS top 25 polls. And as Coach Ferrante said earlier this week, Coach Santos always has New Hampshire ready to go. They're a gritty team. They're a physical team, and they're led by their defense. Their defense only gives up 18 points per game. So this is one of the best defenses in the FCS. It's a really good defense, probably the best in the CAA. So Villanova going to have a tough task to score some points against New Hampshire on Saturday. When you look at the offense for the New Hampshire Wildcats, they score about 23 points per game. So definitely one of the worst offenses that Villanova has played so far this season. But Matt Veza does a pretty good job at quarterback. He's still young. He's just a sophomore for New Hampshire. His ratio in terms of touchdowns and interceptions is not great. He has 5 passing touchdowns this season, 4 interceptions, but he does throw for more than 200 yards per game, so he will get the ball in the air, and he also rushes the ball really effectively. He's a dual threat. He can beat you in the air and also beat you with his legs. He leads New Hampshire with 4 rushing touchdowns this season, so Matt Veza is definitely a guy that you have to keep an eye on. Very similar to Tyler Hughes last week for William & Mary. You have to find a way to contain him, because if he isn't throwing the ball all that effectively, he definitely can beat you in the ground game. The leading running back for this New Hampshire squad is Miles Thomason, who doesn't have a rushing touchdown yet this season, but he is really effective. And I think, the challenge for Coach Santos in New Hampshire over the first 5 games of the season has been very similar to what Villanova's been dealing with. We're trying to find a balance between the passing attack and the rushing attack. So these two teams are very similar in terms of, trying to find a balance between throwing the football and rushing the football. But on paper, Villanova definitely has the advantage. But both of these teams are meeting up over the years. It's been very close. New Hampshire has a 1-game lead in the program history matchups. And this probably is going to be the last matchup between Villanova and New Hampshire for a long time, with the Wildcats moving to the Patriot League. So this should be a fun contest. It's always a tough game when these two teams match up. It's always difficult to win on the road in New Hampshire. So Villanova definitely with a tough challenge coming up here on the road. As I said, back-to-back weeks on the road at New Hampshire, at Elon, and then Villanova will come home to take on a UAlbany and Hampton squad, which both of those teams have really struggled. So again, this game, homecoming weekend for New Hampshire, will begin at 1 p.m. on Saturday. We won't have any WXVU coverage, but I will have coverage on my social media. Again, Villanova looking for its 3rd win of the season and its 2nd conference win of the year as they will take on New Hampshire on Saturday. Thanks for tuning into this preview video, Nova Nation. I'll see you very soon on my social media. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cats!